Will I be the fool if I take my two bio kids for a beach weekend when my stepkids are with their mom? I, 32 female, have two stepchildren who are 14M and 13F and two bio children who are 4 male and 2 male. I don't have a very good relationship with my stepkids right now, and they don't have a good relationship with their half-siblings. This makes having family time together a very rough experience. It's also impossible for us all to have a good time if I take all 4 kids anywhere alone. It's a mess. So when my sister asked me if I'd like to have a beach weekend when my husband is out of town for work next month, I said sure. Her husband owns a beach house, and she was planning to go with her kids and our mutual best friend and her kids. My MIL did not like the plan because my stepkids will be with their mom and she feels something like this should wait until I have the kids, despite the fact nobody would have fun doing this. My husband TJ supports me going and told his parents as much. I admit I'm conflicted. For those who need BG, I met TJ 12 years ago. My stepkids were both under 3 years old. Their mother was engaged to someone at the time too. We got along fine. TJ and I got married after 2 years together. Not long after things changed with the kid's mother. Her engagement broke down sometime before TJ and I married. A while after my marriage, she became very toxic and angry. She hated me most of all and accused me of trying to replace her with the kids and make her look like a bad mom. None of this is true. This started years of alienation and an unsettled parenting time split with the courts sometimes taking custody from her, giving her every other weekend or 50-50. Currently it's 50-50. The kids are in therapy, we have all been ordered into mediation, co-parenting classes, family therapy as a group of 5 and therapy between TJ and the mom. She has been arrested 3 times, which has influenced the court's rulings on custody at times. The kids believe her that I'm trying to replace her. They believe I tried to make her look bad. They hate me. When they interact with me, they tell me I am not their mom and they won't do chores when only I'm home or they won't go to the store with me. My husband ended up hiring someone to help when he works. They behave way better with him except where our bio kids together are concerned. They have been punished at times for their behavior. It's not ideal. It doesn't work. They're still in therapy. I don't need them to love me. But to not get angry and lash out for my presence would be ideal. To not be cruel to their half-siblings. It's so tough finding the right balance between supporting and loving them and being here and not overstepping or inserting myself where they don't want me and making things worse. What's hardest is my husband's family believe I am better for the kids than their mom is, and they encourage me to build up a mom relationship with them and they judge me for not trying to give the kids that. So that's where we're at. Will I be the fool if I go with just my kids?
Am I the fool for not allowing my siblings to visit my home until they can be respectful of our differences? My siblings and I lost our mom, or as they call her, their biological mom, when we were young. I, 24 male, was 6 when mom died and they were 3F and 2M. 2 years later our dad met his second wife as I see her while they see her as their mom. This was not something I always understood. For a few years I always thought they would see mom as their one and only mom like me and I really had a hard time with them calling dad's wife mom. My dad did an awful job of trying to help me with that. He tried to insist she was our new mother and that really made it worse and my dad's wife handled it even worse by spewing a lot of religious stuff at me about mom asking Jesus to send us a new and better mom. I don't think she was trying to be malicious but not the way to speak to a kid who loves and remembers his mom. It was my grandparents, maternal, who helped me eventually, where even therapy couldn't. They told me that the kids were so young when mom died that for them a piece was missing and dad's wife filled that for them and they felt loved and comforted around her which was the most important thing and we should want that for them if it's what they need/crave. They admitted to hating it as well and wishing it was different but also said they loved my siblings more than they hated the situation. It really helped me. Also getting to talk about how different it was for me because I had my own memories of mom while they only had other people's memories of her. So I came to accept that we were so different now. They had a different mom to me. But I still loved and wanted the best for them so I learned to be okay with that. This is not true for my siblings who don't understand why I can't see their mom as my mom. They don't bring it up all the time. But they always do when they visit my home. I always had a photo of mom and a somewhere no matter where I lived but now I live with my girlfriend and we're in our own home and I have more traces of mom around. They always bring up how I have mom in my home but not their mom. How I should have real family photos and not old ones. They come to see me more now that I live here and it comes up way more. So I sat my siblings down and told them we're different. That's something I accepted a long time ago. That yes I used to have issues with them accepting dad's wife as mom. I was a kid. I learned to do better. But it didn't change how I feel or perceive Dad's wife, and they should work on accepting the same, because it's driving us apart. They told me the difference is I cherish a memory while they cherish the living person who took care of us. I told them we would never be on the same page, and that's okay. But they should learn to be respectful of those differences, and until that point they can't come over anymore because they won't stop trying to pick a fight about it. They got mad and accused me of overreacting. Am I the fool? Am I the fool for breaking my vegan diet? Hi people. My entire family are vegans. My dad especially is a very vocal vegan. He goes to vegan protests, was in vegan groups in our old city, he's a vegan activist. Which I love. I'm not trying to paint those things as bad, I really respect him for his thoughts. My brother and I have both been raised vegan our entire lives. At school it's always made me feel othered, is the best way to explain it. Never able to eat anything sold in the school canteen, at friends' birthdays never able to eat a piece of cake with my friends, or have to be the one who says, we can't go to that restaurant, they don't serve any vegan food. Always having to explain why I'm not allowed to try a bite of their sandwich. They aren't huge things, but they are things that make me stick out. Since I'm an awkward guy anyway, it just doesn't help me socially. So when we moved cities and I joined a new school last Monday, I decided that I'm not going to follow the vegan diet while I'm at school. I kept this to myself because I know my parents wouldn't support it and would be angry. When at home, or with my parents, I will follow the vegan diet, but if I'm out with my friends or at school I'm not going to say. In my mind this was respectful of my parents' wishes. No meat in the house or around them, but myself is different. My brother and I both go to this new school. Since we don't share a dinner time, I didn't tell him that I wasn't going to follow the vegan diet. I didn't think he would support it and I thought he would tell Dad. Things have been going alright, but I didn't know that on Fridays my brother's dinner time would be at the same time as mine. I was sitting with some new friend and I was eating a cheese pizza. This is the only non-vegan food I've eaten so far. I want to try pepperoni but still feel a little scared, and my brother caught me and asked what I was doing eating pizza. I tried to play it off, but I knew I was screwed. My brother told my parents and now everyone is really upset at me. I've been grounded and my dad said he's going to call my new school and tell them that if they sell me non-vegan food he will put in a discrimination complaint. Which is just going to make me seem like a weirdo now. I tried to explain to him that I was trying to be respectful by not doing it here, but my parents just gave me a huge lecture about how I'm so selfish for breaking the diet. He said he can't trust me anymore, and now I feel guilty in one half of my brain, and in another I'm telling myself it isn't that big of a deal and they're overreacting. But I don't know if I'm just being blind. Please, no debates about the ethics of the vegan diet. I don't care to debate it with anyone. I'm sure there are subreddits where people will be happy to. Please focus on my situation when giving your verdict.
Am I the fool for not changing my name for my mom after she spent the last 18 years hating it? So when my parents were expecting me, my mom decided to name me Catherine Elizabeth. My mom felt strongly about the name Catherine, and Elizabeth was a family name on both sides, so it was a kind of compromise name. Neither loved it, but mom didn't like any of my dad's choices for middle name, and my dad didn't like Catherine, and with mom saying no to the middle name they decided to use a mutual family name. During my birth, my mom suffered many complications. She was rushed for an emergency C-section and ended up needing multiple blood transfusions and was out of it for a couple of weeks. During that time, Dad decided he was going to name me what he wanted since my mom cut him out of choosing my first name. And I ended up with a name my dad loved, but my mom hated it. She had no say in the name. By the time she was healthy enough, they were told they would need to pay to change it. Mom was bitter. My parents are still married but never recovered from it, and I 100% get it. My mom was betrayed and is angry that he went against what she wanted while she was at her lowest point. The thing in all of this is I love my first name. I got the middle name Elizabeth still. I don't care for that either way. But I love my first name. Even though my mom hates it. She always wanted me to be Catherine. And after I turned 18 a few weeks ago, she asked me to let her pay now for me to change my name. She said she regrets not doing it when I was a baby. But she admitted my name makes her so angry and brings the betrayal up to the front of her memory. So she would love for me to wear the name she chose now. But I hate Catherine. I don't want to be Catherine. This really upset my mom. She thinks my name is dumb. It's unique and not common in the US as a name. And I admit it's not for everyone, but it is for me. I'm glad I ended up with my name over Catherine. But I know my mom is struggling with that realization. She really thought I would want to be Catherine when I turned 18 and would be glad to do it with her offer to pay. And she told me how disappointed she was, and she asked me if I would consider it for her. I told her if I did it would make me unhappy. She got kinda mad at me, and she implied she felt betrayed all over again. Am I the fool? Am I the fool for telling MIL she's a guest? My 33 female, MIL 67 female, lives in another country with her husband. We never got along because she always insists on being the one to make the rules and is overall very controlling. She also disliked me from the start for merely existing. We don't see her very often, thankfully, but whenever we do, it's always pretty stressful. She is visiting now and staying with us. It's been a week. Normally, my husband deals with her shit, but he's currently traveling for work and won't be back until tonight. Since my husband left, she's been horrible. It's like she's trying to get on my nerves on purpose. I try to keep calm because I know she'll leave in 2 weeks and I won't see her for months again. However, there's been an incident that me and my husband are now fighting about. My toddler brought a large toy truck to the table. I reminded him no toys when we're eating, please put it back in the toy box and you can play with it when you're done eating. My toddler was compliant, but as he was getting off the chair, Mil said, "It's okay honey, grandma allows it, your mommy is no fun, isn't she?" This is not an isolated incident, she's been trying to undermine my parenting ever since my husband left for work, trying to let the kids eat sweets instead of dinner, telling them they can do things I just told them they were not allowed and so on. I could not take it anymore and said, let's not forget grandma is but a guest here. Guests don't make the rules, do they? I'm sure grandma knows who this apartment belongs to. And hotels are so expensive in this area. I admit my tone was mocking, and I was referring to the fact that I alone own our home, I inherited it from grandpa. She was red and called me disrespectful, but did not escalate it any further. The same evening, my husband is calling me furious, asking how dare I tell his mother she's not welcome here. I told him full story and he was still pissed, claiming I should have handled it better and keep peace. He said he can't even leave for a few days without us getting in a fight in front of the kids. I told him, why don't you say that to your mother? I also told him this is the last time I'm allowing her to stay over. She can live in a hotel or not come at all, for all I care if she has to act like this. I refuse to feel so uncomfortable in my own home. I also told him I'm going to my parents' lake house this weekend because the weather is so nice and I want to relax. However, Mil is not welcome to join. He has 3 options: go with us, try to convince the kids to stay home with him and Mil so that I could go alone, or I go with the kids and he stays with Mil. He told me it's very rude not to invite Mil. She would love to go to the lake. I said maybe, but she's the one I need a break from. He called me a petty asshole. I sure am petty, but I don't think I'm the asshole here. Never in my life have I started an argument with Mil first. But just in case, am I the fool?